right, here we are again. As usual, we got these first minute or so of insecurity while we verify that nobody is going to be interested. Hello, Tina. First one in. Hi, Robert. There we go. Starting to get a few people popping in here now. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Auntie Elizabeth. Hi, Megs. Hi, Maria. There we go. Starting to get a few people in here today. And Bite's already upset that he's not the center of attention. That's pretty usual for him. Do I know that Alabama is playing tonight? No, I really don't. Don't really follow country music like that. Thank you, Megs. I appreciate that. I was really concerned about doing that one because that's such a difficult subject, and I knew that YouTube would demonetize it. Oh, okay, Alabama. Okay, when I think Alabama, I guess I think country music, Alabama, not Alabama football. Sorry, my mistake. That's cool. I guess I just automatically think of that. I'm not really much of a football person, so I automatically, I guess, just gravitate towards music. And I guess I kind of know of Alabama a little bit because when I worked at the CD factory, when we opened up a second facility in Huntsville, Alabama, they actually had the band Alabama come down and record for the grand opening or play for the grand opening. In fact, we got commemorative discs and everything. I've still got it in the shrink wrap somewhere. I never really lived for long term in Alabama. I went and spent about half a summer there one year. They had a shortage on their end of things, and so they asked me to come and help them. I spent like 5 or 6 weeks there, but I never really lived there. I was in a hotel. Yeah, I agree, Megs. It was a story that really needed to be told. It was sad, I had trouble doing it because it's such a horrible thing. Regardless of whether he was guilty or not of murder, you know, that's not how it's done. Sorry, to paraphrase myself, but that just, you don't do that. Well, I think they tried to forget it for a long time, but at the 100th year anniversary a couple of years ago, the the city finally acknowledged that it happened and issued a proclamation condemning lynching, condemning the whole story, and actually apologized to the family. So, you know, and the truth is, I did a lot of research. I went down to the site 3 or 4 times between when I discovered the story and when I actually shot it, and I found a lot of people there that were very helpful in me figuring out what happened. Because the first night I went down, I was trying to figure out, if the city hall that's there now was the one that was present at the time, and I couldn't find a date on it. But then I found that little elevation marker, and I found a woman who knew of the story. She'd only lived in Waco for a couple of years, but she was familiar with the story. And I just kind of glossed over it. No, I'm actually talking about the lynching. And she says, where they lynched the guy, and she said, yeah, they did a lot more to him than that. And that was so she knew of it. And then the next night I was down there again because at that point I kind of had a feeling that it was the previous building that had been there, and that the current city hall had been built afterwards. But I was trying to figure out when that happened, and I had another guy that was giving me information. He said, yeah, the one before this wasn't even the first city hall. There was another one at another location. And so then the question became, well, was it here or was it at the other location? And that all was a matter of when those buildings were built. And I found out that that kind of cathedral looking building that um, had that I showed you the picture of, that one had existed at least in the year 1895, because I went into the city secretary's office and they literally printed those out for me. And she confirmed, yeah, this first picture is from 1895. And then she showed me the newspaper article inviting people to the celebration of the new city hall in 1930, which was built in 1928, which confirmed that that cathedral-looking building was actually the building. And then, like I said, once I was able to do that, I was able to figure out where the location was, and well, you saw it. So, like I said, it was a really sad story, and I'm really glad there's been so much positive, you know, uh, feedback on that, because I was also concerned that nobody would want to watch that one, and that's been a pretty successful video. So I'm grateful to all of you for doing that, for sticking through it, because it is such an ugly story, and as it went along, it just got uglier and uglier and uglier. So I'm grateful to all of you for muscling through that one. Well, and you're right, VNA. It wasn't uncommon to lynch, but it didn't get that bad. Usually, it was just a hanging, but this was a torture. This was a torturous murder. They burned the guy alive, and they cut him, and they, did just all sorts of unspeakable things to him. Hi, Christine. Hello from the UK, or to the UK. Thanks for stopping in. I know it's getting late there, but I haven't done a 6 o'clock video for a while, so yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that they brought their kids and they lifted their kids up on their shoulders to do it, to so they could watch what was going on. It's like, how do you traumatize a kid like that? Kids they don't understand the hatred at that age. They just see what their mom and dad are doing, and what kind of image did those kids have of their moms and dads after that? Thanks, Maria. Yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult to shoot it too. Like I said, I discovered the story last Monday and shot it on Wednesday, and I spent all that time researching it. It's like, oh man, this is just horrible. It just got worse and worse and worse. Because I tried to read every piece of information I could on it, and there really aren't a whole lot of videos out there on the web about it, and a lot of them were like really inaccurate. Uh, so I felt it was really necessary to really go back to the source as much as I could. And like I said, that report by the NAACP was instrumental in all that, because that just literally gave a blow by blow description of what happened to that poor guy. Yeah, only seven. Well, and they aren't really even sure how old he was. They think he was about 17, but I've heard reports that he was, 18 or 19, but he was a young kid. Yeah, there were a couple points shooting that and a couple points editing it where I was tearing up. So I totally get it that you have pink eyes right now. I was kind of the same way. It was a hard story to tell. The job thing, it continues. I'm still looking for a job. You remember there was that one I went in for the interview about a month and a half ago, and I never heard from them. Yeah, I got an email from them like 2 days ago saying that they'd gone with someone else. That was disappointing though, because they promised they'd get back to me within a week, and it took them a month. So, and think, yeah, you're right. What a way to get killed. And think about it. This guy was, not entirely there mentally. He was a little mentally deficient. And so what did he think was going on? They said he was illiterate, and maybe prone to a little bit of aggressiveness. Probably because he'd been mistreated over the years and stuff like that. But it's just horrible. I had another weird dream last night. I'm not sure it's related to the other ones, but I that was actually something I talked about in the vlog today, and so we'll wait until that vlog comes out in a couple days to tell that story. It was a little bit related, but I don't know. It might be related, it might not. It was different in a lot of ways. Let's just put it that way. There's a cat behind me. Oh my gosh, you're right. There's a cat behind me. How did that happen? I suppose it happened because I'm the one that dishes out the kitty treats. Now that when you hear me get on the couch and start turning on the computer that the kitty treats are going to start flowing, right? Don't you? And he always grabs the first one and goes and hides behind the lazy boy over there. But he'll be back. Count on it. He's right down here right now. What am I cooking next? I don't know. I'll probably be doing one in the next couple days or so, but I haven't decided. It's one of those things I get up in the morning and I decide I'm going to do a cooking vlog, and I go and look at the recipes I've received from you, and I pick one out on the site. So, or we'll pick one out at the time. So, uh, we'll figure it out. Probably in the next day or so. Maybe as early as the one I shoot tomorrow, which will be like Tuesday's vlog. I don't know. I kind of make this up as I go along. Who is training who? You're right, Peg. He's got me trained, absolutely. Yeah, that kind of thing happened not just in Texas. It was all over the South. Yeah, that cheese dip thing I made last time, that was so good. Holy cow, I'm still eating that. See who's back now? He's ready for more kitty treats. Does the cat like cheese? No, no, not really. I mean, I don't feed either of them a lot of cheese because they're not really into it. When I used to babysit Jaw, Jaw loved the cheese, but they like the kitty treats, and sometimes I get little pieces of ham that I'll cut off, and they like the ham. Like I have to hold on to this guy so that Nibble gets her share. Otherwise, this guy will take them all. Because Nibble's a little bit of a more dainty eater. Bite, he just takes it and he swallows it. And so if I don't hold on to Bite and I throw one over for Nibble to eat, he'll get there and he'll take it from her. So yeah, there he goes again. You missed me talking about my dad. Well, if you noticed the title, I talked to him right before we got on the live stream here, and he's actually going to come on in a little bit, and we're going to do a telephone call, and you're going to actually be able to hear him. And so we're going to do that for a little while. I want to wait for us to get a few more people in here, but I believe he's watching right now, and I'm going to call in to him and put him on the speakerphone, and you'll be able to hear him. And he can't really see the questions coming up here, so I'll read questions to him, but he'll answer them for you. So, keep that in mind. Yeah, Bite does rule the nest, no doubt about it. Yeah, I went and visited Salem, Massachusetts about 20 years ago. That was a very interesting place to be. I turned out I was on a business trip for a convention in Boston, and I was going to be there over Halloween. And a friend of mine suggested, "Oh, yeah, you're really into that stuff. You ought to go to Salem on Halloween night." And she was right. That was the best idea ever. My father has well, he has a desktop computer. He has a laptop that he doesn't use much anymore, but he uses his tablet mostly, and I'm guessing he's watching on that. Now, I was able to figure out, because I have a tablet here also, and I was actually able to figure out how to display the text, but I figured it would just be easier for him to get on the phone, and we'll put him on the speakerphone, and I'll just read interesting questions out for him. He's made it clear he doesn't want to stay the whole time because he doesn't want to take up the whole live stream. But you know what? I told him he could be on here as long as he wants to. So keep the questions coming when we bring him on, and maybe we can persuade him to stay for a little while. It's funny about the other cat, Nibble. She's actually become a little bit less shy lately. When I'm down here with the kitty treats, she'll actually come up to the lazy boy chair, get up on her hind feet with her front feet on one of the armrests, and take kitty treats right out of my hand. And it's just like bat at my hand to get my hand closer. So she's a sweet little kitty. She just doesn't like people. I don't know what it is. How far am I from Austin? I'm about midway between Dallas and Austin, so it's about 90 or 100 miles. I'm assuming you mean Austin, Texas. I have family that lives in Austin, Minnesota, too. It's a little bit further to them. Oh, thanks for catching up, Nancy. Yeah, that must be the reason the views have been way off. You haven't been watching every day. I'm still looking for jobs. I'm just right now. I'm kind of at a stage where you know, I'm kind of desperate to find something at this point because I'm getting really, really bored being home every day, and so I'm filling out a lot more applications than I was in the past. I'm just throwing a bunch of old things at the wall, and let's see if I can find something to stick, even if it isn't a good job right off the bat. You know, I want to start making some income because I'm getting stir crazy around here. Yeah, you're right. Just it's a little bit further to Minnesota. No, I haven't seen Jordan's Charles Manson's son video, but I knew about that one a few days ago because he sent me a picture uh, telling me that he'd interviewed him. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Yeah, the Branch Davidian story is definitely on my list. I'll hit that at some point too. Like I said, everyone kind of knows about the Branch Davidians. So when this story came up, I said, you know what, this one's important because so much of of the information that's out there was inaccurate and conflicting and stuff like that. There's only a couple of videos out there that I found on the subject, and none of them dove into it the level that I did. I haven't seen anybody that was able to figure out where exactly it happened. You know, because I spent a whole bunch of time, studying pictures because there's all sorts of documentation because they got this photographer that came out and documented the whole thing. That was part of what brought the NAACP down here. Is this guy was selling postcards of the lynching and of the torture, and it was just really sad. And it's astounding. They estimated that like 15,000 people watched this. That was half the city at the time. They were saying that people were getting on the phone saying, "Hey, yeah, they're going to lynch that guy. Come on down to the city hall." So that's how screwed up that is. Yeah, you're right. I'm just Karen. I'd never heard of it either. I discovered it on just in a comment to a Facebook post. Somebody on this Waco history Facebook page I follow posted a picture of a postcard from 1906, and it wasn't even related to it, but somebody responded say, "Hey, this is that was just a year before the Waco Horror." And I said, "Waco Horror, what's that?" So I went and looked it up and found out it wasn't 1 year, it was 10 years. I think it might have been a typo. They probably forgot to put the zero in there. But, at that point, I just kind of fell down the rabbit hole on it and just kept looking and looking. And I just found more and more, um, you know, on that. Did I hesitate before I decided to vlog the Waco Horror? Well, I spent a couple of days researching it, and there were a couple points there where I said, I don't know if I even want to do this story. And I was talking to Jordan about it, and said, there's this story I'm working on. I'm going to probably do in a day or so. And I said, go home and Google Waco Horror. And he texted back and says, yeah, you should do that one. It's a horrible story, but you know, yeah. Well, thank you. I'm glad you thought it was a good video. Like I said, that was a concern. I wasn't sure that anybody was going to want to watch that one because it's such a dark story. In fact, Jordan helped me come up with a title for that one because I was just going to call it the Waco Horror, and he suggested turning it into a question. He says that might attract more viewers, and I'm hoping at some point that this kind of becomes more of a something that grows over time, goes viral, if you will. Because, like I said, there aren't a whole lot of videos on the subject, and a lot of them just seem to be more about whipping up anger, and they kind of gloss over the details and stuff like that. And like I said, no, I don't think there's anything out there that's as thorough and goes into as much detail as I did. So, I'm kind of proud of it, and it's good it's out there in the universe. And like Jordan said a bunch of times, a lot of things when he goes out and does a video, he wants his video to be the best one out there on the subject. So I hope that turns into it because, like I said, I spent more time researching that one than any other video I've ever done. It was important, and I think it was important to do, even if it could totally got demonetized. I didn't think YouTube would try and block it. I just knew that they would. I figured they'd demonetize it, and in fact, when I uploaded it, it was 30 minutes after it was uploaded that they demonetized it. And I told Jordan, "Oh yeah, they demonetized." He said, "Challenge it," and I challenged it, and they reviewed it, and they said that they're gonna that they stand by their decision. So that's the only real video, the only daily video I've ever had that they demonetized, and stuck with that. But like I said, I wasn't really that upset this time because I understand in this case, all the rest of my videos are really benign. There's nothing, you know, controversial in any of my videos. I understand that, advertisers may not want to, cover this subject. So, it didn't really surprise me when they, you know, didn't remonetize it. As a matter of fact, when I did the two videos because I did the one where I went to the cemetery the day before. That was why I went to that cemetery, by the way, was to get the footage of the grave, and that one got demonetized also. In fact, almost at the same time, and so I challenged them both, and the cemetery one got remonetized, real quick, but. They obviously had a whole bunch of people watch my Waco Horror video because I had like 12 views on that before it even went live. So Yeah, I had no doubt that it would stay alive. I just figured I wouldn't be, um, I just figured it wouldn't be one that I'd be monetized on. Question: does the notification bell help in your vlogs? I don't know. Only you can tell that because I don't do that. I don't get notifications because I if it's a vlog I want to watch, I go look it up and periodically I'll check that out. So I don't know. Oh yeah, yeah. I saw him pop up. He'll be here in and out a few times during the night because, like I said, he loves his kitty treats. And he now knows that when I'm live streaming, he gets kitty treats, and he takes one in his mouth and then he shows you his butt. Yep, that's bite for you. You're the bite. You're the butt cat. Okay, well, thanks, Maria, for stopping in. I'll be here for another, 90 or so minutes. We're going to call my dad here pretty quick. So let's see what happens on that. Hey, Elvis is in the house. I do, Rose. I do understand the demonetization because it was a real graphic subject, and there were some really horrible images I put on there. So, it's it's just the way it is. Am I going to California for Christmas yet? Not sure yet. Actually, I got a text from my mom a couple of days ago. I think she to come out for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't know if I can do both because I've been back and forth to California a whole bunch of times, and but I don't know. At this point, I'm probably going to watch. I'm probably going to go for Thanksgiving at least. We'll play it by ear. Oh yeah, that's what Bite does, Jenna. He takes the treat and runs. Did I put the PSA before my video? Yeah, yeah. I decided I had to do that because I wanted to prepare people because you don't dump something like that on people without letting them know it's coming. And so it was kind of a last minute thought, but yeah, I put the viewer discretion is advised thing on there. It is expensive, and it's going to be worse during the Thanksgiving holidays. That's just the way it is. Yeah, I've been to the Nixon Library a few times because that was you're right. It literally was my neck of the woods. I used to live like 2 miles from there. Yeah, it took me 2 days to get through all the fine print on the lease, but I did get it signed. We're good to go. It's funny. I found typos and mistakes in the lease that even the landlord didn't know about. I Turns out they were supposed to put smoke detectors in this place, and I asked them, hey, the thing says you're supposed to put smoke detectors based on what the law is. What is the law here? And she says, you don't have smoke detectors in your place? And I said, well, I installed them about a week ago, but there weren't any at the time. I asked if I get reimbursed for that. She says, no, no, we can't do that. So okay, I'll just take them with me when I leave. That's the way it happens. They're not attached to the wall very securely. Two little screws, piece of cake. They'll just come down real easy. No, I don't think anyone saw any ads. What YouTube says is that the video is not suitable for most advertisements. So there might be some, or there might be none. In this case, I guess there were none. So, like I said, I'm not really upset this one. I understand about it, because of the subject matter. Yeah, Bite is back. I see him. I can hear him too. You may not hear him, but he's got a motor like a Harley. You hear him? Your grandson is on his way to Texas for, I assume, for boot camp. All right, go Navy. Yeah, everyone who replied said they didn't see any ads, so I'm guessing there weren't any. Like I said, it's a controversial subject, and okay, I'm not going to get any revenue from that one. But like I said, it was an important story; it had to be told. So anyway, let's change the subject a little bit. I'm going to do a call in to my father because he said he wanted to talk to you guys. So let's see if he's on the phone and ready to answer a few questions here. Hope that's going to be loud enough.
Hello.
Hey, there he is. How you doing?
I'm ready to do it here.
All right. We're live on the air, everyone. So if you have any questions for my father, I'm hoping you can hear him. If not, I'll kind of hold the speaker up to the computer a little bit. Can everyone hear him? All right. Lizzie says hi, Breck's dad.
Hi, this is Breck's dad.
Yeah.
The live stream is behind what you're doing.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll want to turn the volume down on your pad, otherwise it'll confuse you. Everyone,
okay.
Everyone says they hear you. So I'm just Karen says hi, Breck's dad. So okay. John M says, how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling good now. I just spent 2 days in the emergency room because I was weak and slipped down off of my recliner. And once I get down on the ground, I can't get up from there. So we had to call emergency. And because we had emergency calls a lot, not for me necessarily, but they suggested that I go into the hospital. And I was concerned too because I was really weak over this process. And I wanted to see whether they could do anything to strengthen my body. Well, they spent the whole time messing with other parts of my body, and they really didn't get me up walking until the day I was ready to check out.
Yeah, we all know how much you love to get out and walk, so we know how much of a challenge that is.
But I also want to thank all you guys that have been praying for me and all the good thoughts. I really appreciate it. Keep it going. So this is an ongoing process, very dynamic, and things happen so that every day is different and unique, and so day to day until a lot of stuff gets stabilized. There's going to be a different story for every day. So if you heard one yesterday, it's liable to be off.
2 days.
And I know because in watching Breck's videos, he reported something, and but he's recorded ahead, and so I find not a lot of difference, but some differences in some of the detail. So
yeah, I sometimes get fact checked by him.
Yeah.
So let me.
You're just calling me now. You're on video.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, a couple minutes ahead, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Lag.
Yeah, I knew there was one. I didn't think it was quite that bad. Let's see. Let me find some questions here for you because I've seen a few of them go through. A lot of people are just saying hi.
Hi, lots of people.
Yeah, someone says that you sound just like me. I think I sound just like him, but whatever.
That's right. We can each tell the difference.
Yeah, I never get confused. Okay, Cheyenne says, hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Blessings from Mexico City from Nancy.
Thank you again. Yeah, Nancy.
And VNA says, hello, Mr. Roll. Good to hear you. Yeah, nobody's ever heard you before. You're just someone I talked to about. Adrian says, Breck's famous dad. So nice to meet you.
Thank you to all of you for the good comments.
Yeah.
I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate Breck keeping you up to date, recognizing that he's sometimes a little bit behind in the dynamics of the situation.
Okay, so John M says, we're glad to hear it when you finally got out of the hospital. I'm assuming they're talking about that from when you were in there for 6 weeks. Jana Delbert says, yeah, he sounds good.
Yeah, I'm good when I'm out of the hospital.
Yeah, big time.
I'm like Breck when I'm confined or limited in activity. I get bored. Daytime television is terrible.
Yes, it is.
But when you are in bed, strapped in a bed almost, you're strapped because there's an electronic beeper on the bed if you try to get out. And that beeper's on like over 23 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then when physical therapy comes, they'll shut it off and I can get out of bed. You know, it's really boring and you don't get much exercise. Your body gets really weak.
Yeah, you atrophy over time when you do that. I actually have Elvis Presley is on my live stream right now. He says he hopes you feel better, sir. I also have one of my.
You able to sing me a song?
Yeah. You want to sing a song, Elvis? That'd be great. I also have one of my viewers, one of my regulars, PDXer. He says he's heard that you worked in the aircraft industry. He wanted to know what your favorite project was.
I worked on a B-2 bomber.
Yes, he did. During the entire time, it was in the very early days when it was still a black project. There were so many years. There were so many years that you worked on that we didn't even know what you did. We knew it had to be an airplane because you're an airplane guy, but beyond that, we had no idea what it was.
I actually was a procurement engineer that bought the computer that drops the bombs.
Yeah, now you know where I get it, right, people? Okay, Nancy says, Mr. Roll, we love your protest against the hospital spaghetti and meatballs. You rock.
Yeah.
That's funny.
They just don't know how to make it.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing that you can screw up spaghetti and meatballs.
I think everything is about 2/3 cardboard.
Yeah, at least. They want to keep your fiber up. Okay, I got a question here. I assume that you watch my cooking vlogs, Dad. I have a question here from Peg Tooth who wants to know what you think I should cook.
I think my only answer is whatever you want.
Yeah, that's probably because he hasn't seen the list, so maybe I ought to do spaghetti and meatballs, huh?
That'd be good, sir.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure yours would be good.
Couldn't be bad. Elvis asks, what's the weather like in California?
Warm.
It's warm?
In the 90s and above.
Oh, wow, 90s? Oh, I'm glad I'm here then. It's only the 60s here. We're supposed to have some rain coming in on Monday, and it's going to get below freezing for the first time, so that ought to be interesting.
Yep.
Nancy Ashley says, thank you for your service, Mr. Roll.
Well, she's very welcome. I enjoyed doing that job, and a good part of the job is enjoying it. And I really did.
Yeah, yeah, that's always an important thing. You got to have a job you like. Um, got questions about the fires in California. Those aren't getting any close to you, are there? Are they?
No,
No.
up in Simi Valley, which is about 60 miles,
Yeah, that
and
was
out in Riverside, which is about the same amount of distance.
right.
There's an awful lot of houses that they have to go through before they got to mine.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's like in the middle of Orange County, so yeah, he's right. It would have to go through a whole lot of houses before it got to him. Um,
Yep.
Vicky is asking if I was a mischievous child.
Yes.
Okay, Peggy wants to know how Flash is doing. Have you seen Flash lately? Is she hibernating yet? Probably not with 90.
I haven't seen Flash because I've been in and out of the hospital so much. I think probably the last time he was here is the last
Yeah, probably.
recording of him.
Yeah.
But we have no indication that he's dead or anything like that.
Yeah, she's been around for 60 or 70 years. She's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Jenny asks who's feeding Flash, and I'll answer that one because Flash is one of the great things about Flash is she's kind of an autopilot pet. You just basically put her in the backyard and she'll find something to eat. You know, that's why I always enjoyed her because you know you don't really even need to take care of her. She's just it's like having a garden where you have automatic sprinklers. You don't have to need to think about it. Oh, here we got a bad joke here from Peg Tooth. Does Flash drive? Bum bum.
No comment.
Tell us something funny about Breck. I don't know. You got anything funny to tell him about me? Besides,
I'm trying to pick out something there. No, I don't know that I can answer that.
Not off
What's
the top
the
of your
funniest thing about you, Breck?
I don't know. I can't answer that either.
Okay.
It's a family video.
Yeah.
Okay, my friend Angela from Washington says hi from Washington.
Hi back to Washington, Angela.
Okay, Peggy wants to know, or no, Penny wants to know if you watch all my vlogs.
I think I got most of them, but there was a period of time when his live streams weren't coming through to me, so I didn't get all the live streams.
Yeah.
And I'm a couple behind because I've been in the hospital and I'm doing catch-up stuff at home.
So you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, huh?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's a tough one, but I'm proud of it. It turned out good, I think.
Okay.
John wants to know if you miss driving a car. I'm guessing the answer to that is probably yes.
Yes, but I gotta be safe.
That's yeah, absolutely. You know, for a while there, he was like having blackouts, and you don't want to have a blackout behind the wheel. Now, I think we pretty much got that under control, but still, want to make sure that your reflexes are up, and it would suck if you got in an accident, but it'd be even worse, if you took somebody else out in the process.
Well, I had an experience on my birthday. We went out for dinner, and the neighbor drove us, and we had a nice, lovely dinner. And when I went to get out of my chair, I was too close to the table, and I hit it, and it knocked me sideways, and I fell over backwards and cracked my head on the back of the next table with some associated blood and cuts and that kind of stuff. And so he called the paramedics to take me to emergency, which wasn't far away.
Literally right across the street.
But I think about that in terms of driving. What would I have done? You certainly can't drive when you're bleeding.
No.
And so that's another thing where we were fortunate to have somebody else driving.
Mm-hmm.
And they went over and they stopped my bleeding, put a couple of staples in my head, and then the person who drove was with us, and she just waited and drove us home.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was lucky. You're really so blessed to have so many friends and neighbors that are willing to help. Because I mean, you got neighbors on both sides of you. You got Beth's father who lives right behind you. You know, it's just, and then you got that caretaker that's doing really good for you. So yeah, it's lucky.
Yep. Well, now that I can get in and out of a car, which I was concerned about when I came home from the hospital because of the 6 weeks of atrophy. Now I can get in and out of a car. I can even use public transportation, Uber or taxi or something like that.
Right. Let's
so
see.
I got a couple of medical appointments and I'm going to make them.
Yeah.
And then if somebody's available to drive me, fine.
Uh-huh.
If nobody's available to drive me, I'll use public transportation.
Yeah, you can do that now.
Yep.
Penny wants to know if you like spicy food like I do.
Yeah, but it's off my list right now.
Yeah.
Because of my liver.
Yeah, no spicy stuff for him. And I'll actually update the question. He doesn't like spicy food like I like spicy food. You know, he's a little bit less on the spice than I am.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I like stuff that makes me breathe fire. And
I know 2 people like that. One's Rick, and the other is my brother-in-law.
well, that's funny because he said, you know, he's told me that. Oh, your brother-in-law. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm thinking you meant your brother. You're talking Paul. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Paul likes that too. Because I was thinking, I've heard your brother specifically talk about that, and he says he likes it, but people don't like being around him afterwards.
Okay. He
Nan-
blames it on the food, huh?
yeah, I guess so. Nancy wants to know: Do you like or hate hospital Jello? I don't know. Do you have an opinion on that?
I've had some Jello. They manage not to mess it up.
It's pretty hard to mess up Jello, but then again, it's pretty hard to meet to mess up spaghetti too. So.
Well, if you use the wrong kind of spaghetti and some very bland marinara sauce and fake meatballs.
Yeah, right.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
None of it tasted good.
Well, I saw it too. It didn't look very good. So, you know, I mean, you know, that's just the way it is. Vicky wants to know if you've ever met Jordan.
Yes, I have.
Yes, he has. Yeah. Yeah, we went to my parents had this place in San Diego that we used to visit all the time. It used to be called Vacation Village. It's now called Paradise Isle. It's on Mission Bay. It's right out in the middle of the bay there. It's like a 43-acre island with a bunch of like bungalows on it. And we used to go there a lot when we were kids. We've been there a few times in recent years. And one of those years, Jordan came down. So he did get to meet him there.
Yeah, and I got to meet Jaw. I was at Jaw's for a couple hours.
That's right. He babysat Jaw while Jordan and I went out and had dinner. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he knows Jaw. He's famous. Yeah, everyone here knows Jaw too, because Jaw's as big a celebrity as Jordan is, maybe bigger.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, he's a very affectionate dog.
Yeah.
And locks it on to new people really quickly, informs his own opinion, and
yeah.
well, during the time that Brett and Jordan were off, I think he went out to eat.
Yeah.
He sort of sat on my lap. I was reading a book and sitting out watching the bay, and he sat on my lap, and
Jaw's just the greatest dog in the world. That's just the beginning of it.
I did have a leash on him.
Yeah.
But when Breck and Jordan came back, he immediately recognized Jordan, and so I let go of the leash and ran over to Jordan. So he prefers Jordan than me.
Yeah,
I understand that.
Yeah, he prefers Jordan to me too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone here is talking about Jaw now. So.
Yeah, he was in your house one time when I came over.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you were helping me prepare my place for the sale, and that was one of the times that I was babysitting. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
John M. wants to know where you grew up.
St. Paul, Minnesota.
St. Paul, Minnesota. Yep, there you go. Yeah, I've visited there a bunch of times. In fact, I've been in the house that he grew up in, so.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time there. My grandparents owned that place until basically they moved out and moved into the hospitals.
Yeah. They bought it before they were married.
Wow, I didn't even know that. They paid like what, a couple $1,000s for it or something? Some outrageous price.
Yeah. I think it was about 6,000.
Okay, I know that's but that was a long time ago.
Yep.
Angela says cold winters in Minnesota. Yes, there are. I made the mistake of going to Minnesota once in the middle of January. I was up north with your brother, and never again. That was so cold. It was like 30 below zero. It hurt to breathe.
Yeah.
I understand why people drink out there. Minnesota, 3M country. Yes, it is. Hi, Breck's dad. Are you the one with a family in Minnesota? My name is Bridget, and I live in Minnesota. Actually, both sides of the family are from Minnesota, pretty much.
Yeah.
Debbie says you sound like a Minnesotan.
Okay. I've been in California longer than I did in Minnesota.
Same time, yeah. Yeah, you moved out here before I was born. So, are you a Twins fan?
Yes, I am.
He is. Okay, there you go. You don't follow him that much, though, do you?
No. Baseball's a little slow for me.
Yeah.
I'm more a football fan, and I'm also a Vikings fan.
Okay. All right. So there's your Minnesota connection there.
Yeah.
Jennifer White Wolf says they call it mini snow. I guess I've never heard that one.
I've never heard that one. But
okay. Yeah. I totally understand where they're going with that. So. Angela's talking about Fargo, Minnesota. I've been to Fargo.
I don't know if I ever have.
Yeah. What music do you like?
I'm an old-fashioned guy. My music is a lot of choir stuff because I sing in the church choir.
Yeah. He dropped out a little bit there, but he's in the church choir, so he really likes that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm not going presently because of my limitations.
Yeah. Let's see, anything else? Peg Tooth is saying the B2 was a product of the 90s. Yes, it was.
Yep.
I think it's still in service, though, isn't it? They're still using it.
It's still in service.
Yeah, I thought so.
There's one that's crashed.
Yeah, I know. I showed you that video once.
Yeah.
Although there may be more. I don't know. Has it just been one?
Just the one.
Just the one?
A total of 21.
Okay. No, that's news to me.
The original plan was to build 133.
Wow.
But the beginning of the program, they didn't access any, didn't give the security clearance to the bean counters. And so that was a mistake because the engineer who ran the company, all the engineer wants is a better product.
Yeah.
And so you describe a product and they say yes, and it does it. Well, it do this. That wasn't our plan. Well, we wanted to do that. So
then you wonder why things get more expensive.
Yep. We ended up spending the same amount of money that we were offered for the original contract. They got 21 airplanes. They're supposed to get 133.
Well, weren't they like a half $1 billion a piece or something at one point?
Something like that, yeah.
They were outrageously expensive, and I'm sure it probably was less at one point. But like you said, they keep adding things. Oh, we wanted to do this, we wanted to do that. It's like, well, okay, that's going to cost more.
Yeah.
Angela wants to know if you've had good spaghetti since you got out of the hospital.
Yes, I have. I made my own.
Yeah. Well, then you know what's going into it, right?
Yep.
When did the Rowell family head west to warmer climate? I'll answer that one. Actually, that was 1963, right? Because you got a job right before I was born at McDonnell Douglas. You came out here first, and Mom came afterwards, right?
Got married in '63, but it came out in '62.
Oh, okay. All right. See, I wasn't there, so I don't remember any of that.
Yep.
All right. One of my friends, Jeff Kidd, just stopped in. He's saying hello.
Hello, Jeff.
This is my dad, Jeff, in case you were wondering. Angela wants to know when your birthday was. You just had it about a week ago.
2nd of November.
Yep, 2nd of November. I think I wished you a happy birthday on that day. I also mentioned it on the live stream, I think.
Yeah, I think you one of the live streams you had something about my birthday on it.
Yeah. Because the last live stream I would have been was last Saturday, and last Saturday was the 2nd.
Yeah.
Joey Robinson wants to know if it was the McDonnell Douglas plant in Long Beach.
If what was in the Long Beach?
He wanted to know if you worked at the McDonnell Douglas plant in Long Beach.
Initially, I worked there for 16 years, then I went to Northrop, and Northrop was B-2 builder.
Right. So yeah, there's your answer, Joey. Yes, he worked at the McDonnell Douglas factory in Long Beach for 16 years, and then got promoted to Northrop. That was a good opportunity.
Yeah.
John wants to know if you've ever missed the four seasons since you moved to California.
I think we miss a little bit of the snow, but I certainly don't miss shoveling it.
And you probably don't miss a lot of snow.
Yeah.
It'd probably be nice to have a little bit every once in a while.
We used to go up to Yosemite in February.
And, I remember that.
There was snow up there, and for 3-4 days or whatever, it was tolerable.
Yeah. But They want to know what you did on your birthday. I think you went to the hospital or you went to the restaurant and cracked your head open, right?
That's right.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything was good except for the last part.
yeah. Well, good thing is it wasn't a really long thing. You weren't there for long, right? They checked you out that night, didn't they?
2 or 3 hours.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it was just more of a staple you up and then kick you out.
Well, they did a brain scan to see if my brain was still working.
What did they find?
uh, Small amount of blood, but not significant.
Okay.
And then they redid it when I was in the emergency room a couple days later, and it hadn't changed. So they decided it's not messing up my head.
Okay. I can hear your clock in the background gonging. It's funny. I was figuring, where's that coming from? I don't have a clock here that makes that sound. It's like, oh, I know.
That's funny. I guess I'm used to it. I usually don't hear it.
Well, I'm surprised I'm hearing it over the speakerphone.
Yeah. So am I, because I'm way the other end of the house from there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to sign off now for a bit.
Okay, that's cool.
If you get some more questions later on, call me back again. I'll stay on the log.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks for everybody that's been praying and all these good thoughts for me. We're working on it. It comes and goes, and it's very dynamic. It's a long process, and we just have to stick with it.
Yeah. All right.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dad. I'll talk to you later.
Right. Bye.
See ya. All right. Well, that was kind of fun. Hope you enjoyed that. I've been kind of teasing the possibility of that happening for a while, and we were going to maybe do it a couple weeks ago, but he wasn't available for it at the time because he was doing physical therapy at the time, and by the time we got back, it was over. So I'm glad we were able to work that. We talked about it a few days ago about doing it, and he really wanted to call in. I was just going to suggest if he wanted, that he could watch the live stream, and and then he could text questions to me, and I just read his answer, or he'd text, you could ask questions, I'd read the questions to the monitor, he'd text me answers, and he was the one that suggested, I could call in. And I said, well, that'd be great. So yeah, I'm glad we got to do that. That was fun, and he was with us a lot longer. He was initially saying, yeah, maybe 10 or 15 minutes and I'll bug out, but that was great. I'm glad he did that. And thank you all for the nice questions for him. It was good to get that, and I know he really appreciated your thoughts and prayers when he was in the hospital. That meant so much to him, and I think that was a big part of the reason why he wanted to call in, because he wanted to thank you for that personally. And that was the first time I tried that. I wasn't sure if you'd be able to hear that on the speakerphone, but I'm glad you were able to hear him. Yeah, well, I'm sorry you came in a little late, Jeff, but I'll put it up. I'll post it as soon as YouTube gets done checking out why they demonetized it, because I'm sure that'll happen. You'll always be able to tell when that happens too, because if they don't demonetize it, then it'll be live in an hour. If they do demonetize it, it'll go up sometime tomorrow. Yeah, it was fun to hear from him. I'm glad he was able to stop in. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. That was a really important vlog, and even though it was completely demonetized, you know what? It was an important one. I'm glad I did it. Dad's going to want his own time slot. I know you went back to watching this, so I'm gonna read some of your comments to him. What is his age? He turned 81 about a week ago. Yeah, Bite's back. I know. I can always hear him. I see him on the screen. I hear his motor running. He only loves me because I dish out the kitty treats. So don't you? That's the way it is, isn't it? Yeah. See. Yeah. Then when he gets what he wants, off he goes. Yeah. Hey, Dad. Michael K says 81 is just a kid. So I guess you're okay. Yeah, he worked at McDonnell Douglas on like some of the passenger planes, like the DC-10 and stuff like that. And then when I was, I think in about high school or so, he transferred over to Northrop and worked on the B-2 stealth bomber. For many years, he worked on that. We didn't even know what he did because it was still a black project in those days. But when the project was finally revealed to the world, I got all sorts of really cool merchandise and souvenirs and stuff like that. In fact, one of these days, maybe I'll have to pull some of that stuff out and show it to you because it's really cool. I got some like cool artist rendition pictures of it. And I don't know, maybe when I go visit my dad, he's got all sorts of great souvenirs he got in his computer room. I'll have to maybe show you that sometime when I go back. How's the weather in my neck of the woods? It's been a lot cooler lately. I think it's probably I don't know. Let me see. Hang on a second. It's 59 degrees right now. It's been a little warmer today. It rained a little bit yesterday, and you know it's supposed to rain again. I guess on Monday. And for the first time, um, I saw like Monday night and Tuesday night. It's supposed to get down below freezing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Yeah, I saw like 30s and 29 and 28. So yeah, that's below freezing. Yeah, no, there's definitely seasons here in Texas because it was weird too because I mean it just the temperature just just dropped like a rock. I think there was like a 30-degree drop in like a 24-hour period, and it's never really bounced back. Yeah, I've actually been watching like in northern Texas too. There's been a lot of areas way up north in Texas where it's gotten really cold, so I'm not really surprised it's in the 20s in Kentucky. Yeah, I've been watching the Arctic Blast, and you're right. They've got like this really cool animation that shows this kind of wave of cold coming our way. I guess it's we're gonna get it on Monday and Tuesday. Do I have winter clothes? I have some, but I might have to go find stuff in the storage locker. Other than that, I'll probably just end up staying here a lot, or at least not being outside a lot. Thanks, Penny. I'm glad you were able to stop in, and you had some good questions for my dad. So thank you for that. You mean you have a choice not to participate in the cold weather? Wow, I didn't know that was an option. Yeah, when I used to work at Disneyland, I used to work outside a lot. And yeah, okay, it doesn't quite get that cold in California. It still can get into the 30s. So yeah, I know all about dressing in layers. I got very proficient at that. I do have a very warm overcoat. I think it's in the storage locker, so I'll have to go dig it out. But any more of those dreams? I actually had a weird dream last night. I'm not sure it's related to um, the one that the other four that I've had because there's a lot of differences about it. But I talk about it in the vlog I recorded today. I don't want to spoil too much about it, but um, it was more benign and more passive than the other ones were. But it was still kind of a strange dream. So you'll see that on the vlog that I think goes live on, I don't know, Monday. I think it was the one I recorded today. So yeah, it makes sense. It'll be Monday's vlog. Oh man, 54 on Tuesday. Oh man, you're in for it. I feel so sorry for you, Jeff. Like I said, I had another dream last night. It wasn't really a bad one. It was more benign and more, you know, I'm not even sure it's related to the other ones. It was just kind of a weird dream. I find that when I eat before bedtime, especially if I eat like something spicy, not necessarily bad dreams, but strange dreams. And actually, sometimes I like to do that because the strange dreams are fun. Did you make it for the end? Well, if the end is the last, what, 38, 48 minutes of it, yeah, yeah, we'll be going for a while. You know, we're just inside of an hour now. Where tomorrow or where today's video gets posted, so we'll run it probably right up to the clock. You know me, I usually go these for about 2 hours, and we're an hour and 12 right now, so we got a ways to go. How's my dad? You just missed him. We had him on the air for a little while. You have to go back and watch the video. He was on the live stream here for about 30 minutes on the phone. He's doing good. Yeah, I know you're probably right, Lizzie. I probably need to start talking to him when I talk about temperatures. I got to acknowledge the fact that I'm dealing with people all over the world and not to stay so America centric here. Yeah, look who's back. You want another kitty treat, don't you? Huh? Is that what it is? If we could just train your sister to come out here and do that. I think people would love to see her. Yeah, I guess he's got what he wants now. How's my mom? My mom's doing fine. She had that her own little falling incident and got her own staples in her head a few weeks ago, but it wasn't a big deal. She basically got hung up going around the corner with her walker and fell and banged her head on something. Got a handful of staples, but they sent her home right that night too. Yeah, 30 degrees Fahrenheit is just below zero centigrade. Because freezing, the temperature water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's probably -1 Celsius. Yeah, I don't know. I probably should have asked him if it was matching scars. At least complimentary scars, huh? You keep whining about the crisp air, and we'll send you. Then Canada will build a wall, and I guess we'll pay for it. Yeah, maybe need some of that cold air to battle the global warming. Yeah, I know they none of them can probably go through airport metal detectors at this point. Yeah, well, my mom did that a couple of years ago. The thing that kind of put her on the walker and in the wheelchair was when she had her knee replaced, and she had that done a few years ago. And the first time it happened, there was some complications with it, and they actually had to redo the process. And then she went and visited her brother in Minnesota and tripped coming out the door one day and broke her leg. And so she was, there've been a lot of complications with that, but she's kind of slowly and surely kind of getting to the point where she's more mobile now. Yeah, 30 degrees Celsius is, I don't remember what the exact number is, but it's like 70 degrees centigrade or 70 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a nice warm day, maybe even more. I don't know. That's what the beauty of the internet is, right? You can do all these calculations real quick. So we can find the right app. 86. Okay, you beat me to it. Thanks, Gene. Am I adjusting to Texas weather after all this time? I'm still kind of weird because I'm a person that when it's really cold out, I'm walking around in like short pants and stuff like people like that. People still kind of look at me weird. I went to the grocery store and it was probably 40 out yesterday and windy, and yeah, I was wearing short pants. I'm weird that way. It's funny when I kept going into the Waco courtroom the other day researching when I was doing that video. I kept setting off the metal detector there just because my belt has so much metal in it. I noticed others from California that moved to Texas. No, but I hear there's a lot of it. In fact, I just think I saw something on the internet this morning that says that California is losing population, and the three states that are getting it are Washington, Arizona, and Texas. Peg says 30 is hot, 20 is nice, 10 is 10 is cold, and 0 is ice. That's probably a good way to remember it. I don't know. I don't think 86 is hot though. I guess it depends on what the breeze is doing. I'd call 86 or warm. Yeah, California is definitely losing population. They have been for a while. It's just people are getting tired of the craziness. Yeah, well, I know when you're from Minnesota, 42 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to try and be inclusive here. Is a warm day. That time I went to Minnesota in the middle of the winter, I remember the same thing. It was there were a few days where it snowed and it was like 30 below, and then a few days later it was like in the 40s, and everyone was walking around in short pants. That's why I left, Gene. Most people in California are a little strange. I mean, Exhibit A here, right? Do I have the heat on right now? No, actually, the heater is a little noisy in here. So no, I don't right now. As a matter of fact, I got the ceiling fan on just to kind of keep the air moving a little bit. But it's pretty comfortable in here right now. I think it's mid 70s in here, Fahrenheit. Yeah, that was a big part of the reason I moved to Texas, Angela, is just because it was so expensive. I mean, it benefited me because I was in my house for 22 years and built up a ton of equity in that. But I wouldn't be able to afford that anymore. Yeah, there was just a ballot proposition a couple days ago on the ballot here to try and well, actually, the way it was worded is that it was going to put it in the Constitution, in the state constitution, that there will never be an income tax, and I think a state income tax, and they passed that, so that's good. That was another one of the reasons I chose to move here. I mean, I understand the property taxes will be a little higher, but you know what? 1% property tax on a $500,000 house, or $500,000 house is less than a 2% property tax on a $150,000 house. So it'll still be good. Yeah, I got a nice chunk of cash sitting in a high interest bank account right now, collecting 1.7% interest. So hopefully I'll have a nice little nest egg ready to go. So what do you want? Do you want the brush or the kitty treats? Huh? Which is it? You're not dumb enough to try and stick your head in there because you get stuck in there, won't you? And then you drop it. Can't take you anywhere, can we? Crunch. Yeah, he's a nut. No, I haven't figured out what those things are. Those balls on the grave. Like I said, that was the only place I'd ever seen them. They're definitely attached to the ground somehow. And I only saw three or four of them. If it's like moss, it's got to be something that's like intentionally planted there. Because when you think of moss, you think of something that just kind of randomly grows. But it seems a lot odd that you'll that these things would only grow in certain places right in front of grave markers. So I don't know. Haven't figured out what those are. Haven't had anyone give me a definitive answer. Yeah, I don't know, Angela. I see myself more as like a homes on homes kind of guy rather than Chip and Joanna Gaines. Chip and Joanna Gaines seem to be, let's buy a house, remodel it, and turn it into your perfect thing. Where Homes on Homes, that was one of the shows I like to watch. Was about this Canadian guy, honestly, who went around, found people who had bad experiences with corrupt contractors who just totally screwed things up, and he went in and fixed things. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to learn to watch for black ice around here. I've seen a number of signs that like where bridges go over like water. They say, yeah, it can get slippery and when it gets cold. Yeah, it was this big, burly, blonde, white guy that named Holmes that I don't remember what his name was, but his last name was Holmes, and so they called it Holmes on Holmes. And I think it was Holmes on Holmes, and that was what he did. And I learned a lot of what I know how to do, from watching shows like that. Yeah, I learned about shiplap on the Gaines show too. You're right. 'Cause Joanne is way into that. Mike Holmes, you're right. Yeah, thank you. I knew if I see that's what I love about this crowd is I know that if I have a question, I can put it out here, and if I can't remember right off the bat, someone here will. Yeah, I never really watched This Old House. That was before I really got into it. Um, but there were a whole bunch of like home improvement type shows um, when I first started getting in. When I had my own house and started doing my own stuff. That I just enjoyed watching because I love the do it yourself things, and that's why I think I enjoy doing the do it yourself projects here too. That's why I think this vlog will get a lot better too when I get a house. Yeah, I think my dad's still watching. So, yeah, Dad, I got a question for you here. It's I'll answer it for you because I know the question. I know the answer. It's hi, Mr. Roll. How do you feel at home? And I know right off the bat that you're glad to be home. That you're getting stir crazy in the hospital, and you like having your own freedom and being able to do your own thing and get on the computer and mess around and not have to watch daytime TV anymore and all that fun stuff. I'd have to be turned into a human pincushion 12 times a day, have people waking you up in the middle of the night to take your blood pressure. They always say one of the dumbest things in the hospitals, they wake you up at 2 in the morning to give you a sleeping pill. What? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I've actually been looking at maybe switching my high interest savings account because when I first started using them, it was 2.1%, and then they dropped it to 1.9, and then to 1.8, 1.7. I think if they drop it again, I'm gonna move my money somewhere else. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's also another part of it, Lizzie, that he likes being with my mom. So I agreed. When my mom was, my mom's in a wheelchair and on a walker, so she can't drive on her own. So when I'm not there, and before she got the home health care, she could only see my father very rarely, and so that was, I think, part of the reason why she liked having me there is because she could. I would go. I went and visited last time I was there. I went and visited my dad every day, and and I mean, it even got to the point where it was almost too much for my mom. She only went like every other day, But I'm a little bit more mobile than she is, so it's really easy for me to just hop in the car and go to the hospital. It's a little bit more of an ordeal because of wheelchairs and getting her out and getting her into the car and getting her out of the car and all that, but. Yeah, I'm kind of trying to keep away from the stock market right now with this money because for the reason you say you don't know if it's going to keep the 2.02% per year. With the savings account, it's they tell you ahead of time what the interest rate is going to be, and as long as they don't keep dropping it like these guys keep doing, um, you know, like I said, it was 2.1 when I put the money in there last summer, and they've dropped it 4 times now. And there's several other accounts out there that are, doing 2 or 2.1% in interest. So, you know what? If they keep dropping it, I'll move it to another account because that's ridiculous. I should be getting more money each month because, I should be having the interest accrue each month, and but it's going lower because they keep dropping the interest rate. Well, to some extent, that it is the Fed dropping the interest rate, but I've been watching a lot of there's 3 or 4 of these online banks that you can go with that that have really high, higher than average interest rates. And this one was actually recommended by my brother-in-law when I first got the money from the house, and he said that's the one to go with. And I've been watching some of these others, and the others they aren't dropping. So it isn't all tied to the Fed rate. Well, what I'm hoping instead of getting a mortgage is that I can just buy a house outright, and then there won't be mortgage, there won't be rent. It'll just so that'll be so much easier to live too, because that's a big part of the expense of living is the cost of all that, is the cost of rent or the mortgage. And if I can get to the point where I don't have any of that, then it's just going to be property taxes and living expenses, and that'll be a lot easier to do. Well, this is one of those foldable wheelchairs, Emma, not one of the big motorized scooter things that you sometimes see on the back of it. So what ends up happening is I end up helping my mom get into the car, and then we just fold the wheelchair up and throw it in the trunk. Yeah, we'll see what happens on Thanksgiving. I think at this point I'll probably go home. It turns out I have a um, some friends of mine do a white elephant Christmas party every year. Usually it's in the summer just because it's easier to get everyone together. Um, but it hasn't happened for the last couple of years, and I got told a couple of weeks ago they're actually going to have it the Saturday before Thanksgiving, and so I might end up going home like Friday, a week before Thanksgiving, and then staying through Friday after Thanksgiving and flying back. So, because it'd be fun to see my friends again, because I haven't seen them in a couple of years. Yeah, I got a cattail behind me. Yeah, now you can see all of them. I think he's a little camera shy right now. The cats are pretty much on autopilot when I go. They actually kind of enjoy their independence. So I just put a lot of food out, a lot of water out. They're fine. They don't really miss me that much. It just makes them crave for the kitty treats more when I come home, right? They entertain each other. Um, haven't heard anything negative about Flash. When we were talking to my father a little while ago, he was saying that the last he heard of Flash is when I was back in California and did a video showing her. But it's probably getting to the point now where she's getting ready to go down and hibernate. So now my dad was saying today that it's in the 90s today, so she may still be up and about. But usually now is about the time, uh, when she begins her hibernation, and then she'll usually be gone until February or March. Thank you, Leanne. It's good to see your words. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the property tax pays for here in Texas because I haven't been here long enough, but basically we don't have a state income tax. So I'm guessing it pays for, things like, the roads and all the stuff, the police, like you say, all the stuff that's kind of necessary to run a society. We also have a sales tax and that kind of, and yeah, Joey's right. It's you pay a percentage of what your property value is worth. Uh, I think I think it's like 2% or something like that. So it's a decent chunk of money, but I think Flash would like Texas though. I think she'd like the weather. She likes it when it's nice and warm. Yeah, Robert's probably right. He goes to schools too. We have some pretty good schools in Texas. At least that's what they say. I don't have any firsthand experience in it, but they keep tooting their horn about how good the schools are. So I don't know. I don't hear anyone complaining about it. All right, thanks for stopping in, Angela. I really liked your Beatles video. It was good. Have I made any friends in the apartment complex? Well, I don't know if I'd necessarily be calling friends, but I've made some acquaintances. Let's put it that way. Um, what ended up happening? We had a little incident here a couple of weeks ago where a couple of neighbor kids got into a fight, and the cops got called. And so, as often happens when the police are here, you get a bunch of people out there doing looky looing, and I guess I was a looky loo also. So yeah, we just kind of looked around, and I got a chance to kind of talk to everyone and get to know a few people. So there's some nice people that work here. Have the cats get a job. Yeah, I know. Burn off some of that fat, right? Working a little bit. Think about the only thing you could do is work at the vet as like a blood donor or something like that. Yeah, well, it's you got to pay taxes because there are some things that the government has to do. Well, that was another one of the things that was on the ballot this time, Joey, was a uh, proposition of constitutional amendment to make it uh, possible to lower the tax rates in the case of when there's like a natural disaster. Apparently, there have been some cases where there was like a natural disaster declared by the governor, and after people lost everything, local tax collectors would come and say, "Well, you still owe us taxes on it, even though your house has been reduced to nothing. You you still owe us, your normal tax rate." So they changed the Constitution. I think that one passed too, saying that that's not cool anymore. You can't do that. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. And I'm sure Bite appreciates that too. Say thank you to Robert, Bite. How about at least look at the camera and say something? Is that how it's going to be? Robert gives you money for kitty treats and you just don't even acknowledge it? How rude. Don't know what to do with him. Sorry about that, Robert, but I appreciate it. Yeah, I voted for it too, Joey. That just seems so wrong. You go watch Christmas movies, huh? Go out and make sure you get a copy of Christmas with the Coincidences because Jordan's in that one. That's a good movie. Yeah, I've thought about doing Uber. The problem is I have a leased car and there's mileage limits, um, on how much you can drive. So I wouldn't be able to do wouldn't be able to do that. What do I think about Jordan no longer doing a daily vlog? I think it's good for him. He's gotten to the point where he can do that, can afford to do that. So, yeah, I think that's great for him. He's been burning the candle at both ends for 3.5 years now. So he deserves a break. And the beauty is what will happen is it'll give give him more time to focus on particular vlogs, and that can't do anything but result in better vlogs. Plus the fact he's got so much content out there right now that, if you feel that you need your daily fix, if you haven't been watching him from the beginning, go back to the beginning and watch some of those early vlogs. There's a lot of content out there. Yeah, yeah. Jordan's movie is actually really good. You saw the interview he did with Robert Kranz a few weeks ago. Um, that was the director, and also played two of the characters in the movie. And I actually, when they did a screening of that movie early on, I got a chance to actually go down and see a screening where I met uh, Robert, and I met a couple of the other characters that were in the movie, including Jordan. It's a really good movie. I still watch it, and in fact, they gave me a free copy of it. So, I have a copy of the movie. But yeah, definitely go get it. It's a funny movie. Thank you, Fairy Grasshopper. I appreciate that. It's we'll get a cozy scarf, definitely. We talked about the Waco Horror a lot at the beginning. We kind of changed channels when my father came in, and he did a little 30-minute segment or so, um, and we had a lot of fun with that. Yeah, I actually had my father call in on the phone. We put him on live, so a lot of people here could get a chance to watch that, talk to him, and ask him questions. Yeah, it is a good movie, Jeff. You ought to check it out. I haven't seen his Manson vlog yet, Manson's son vlog, but I definitely want to check that one out because, Jordan and I have been to a couple of Manson locations over the years. We went to the place, to Spawn Ranch, where they were living when the murders happened. We've been to the Tate House where the murders happened. Been there a couple times because there's that haunted house that's right down the hill that we've been to a couple times. We live streamed there once, and we kept going up to the gate to where the house was. He does. He looks exactly like Charles. So I don't doubt it at all. Just from the picture. Jordan, a couple days before he posted that one, he sent me a picture of that. So it, that live stream was fun though. We had a great time. I still don't believe in the ghosts though. You know, I think I can explain everything. Yeah, on Cielo Drive. I remember before Jordan was doing any of his vlogging, he used to do food delivery at night in like the Hollywood Hills area. And one time I went with him on his deliveries, and we were in the area of the Tate House, and so he drove me by that, and so that was my first time going there. Who's going to donate for the beer fund? I lose scarves. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been one to wear scarves, but I definitely wouldn't object to a beer fund either. Yeah, all I got right now is water. So, Todd, you talking about Jordan's movie? It's called Christmas with the Carunces. In fact, hang on a second. I'll go show you what the cover looks like. It's just right over here. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna give you some dead air, just because I'll never be able to remember how to spell that name. But that's a great Christmas movie, and you can get it. You can get it at this website here. I'll actually leave that on screen for a couple seconds. It's what is it? Ellinus Media, ELLINAS multimedia.com. So I'll just kind of leave that on the screen there. You can see that for a couple seconds here. You get it from then you're getting it right from the source. There's a lot of other places that'll sell it, and then it doesn't necessarily go to Robert and his production company. But this is the official source. Definitely go and get it. If you get a chance, tell them that Jordan sent you. And I guess you can, I don't know if that telephone number is accurate anymore either, but I would guess you could probably call them. Yeah, that's it. And you want it to go directly to Robert and his production company, because you know what? They're the ones that do the money. You don't want some middleman taking the money out of that. So yeah, if you get a chance, definitely do that. This is a great movie. I watch it every year. It's got good family values. It's basically, if you like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, it's basically the same movie, but with more Christian values. And so, it's a lot more God centric, and but it's the same, almost basically the same movie. Jordan has compared it on numerous occasions to Christmas Vacation. I actually almost call it a blatant ripoff, but you know what? It's perfect because it's two different audiences. So yeah, that's what the movie's called right there. Christmas with the Corunceuses, and it's a good movie. So I highly recommend it. Anyway, end of plug. It is. It's a really funny movie. I really enjoy it. And Jordan's got a great part. He's originally mistaken by the family. He's brought in. He and a friend are brought in on Christmas Eve and basically join him at the table. And everyone thinks he's a religious guy trying to sell his religion to him. And then at the end, they find out no, he just works at the gas company or something like that. And they're out there trying to make sure everyone's okay. But yeah, it's a bit part, but Jordan definitely steals the show. Yeah, yeah, the trailer is definitely on YouTube. So if you get a chance, go check that out. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll post I'll type in the web address in the comment section, because I bet you that'll get turned into a link on the in the stream here. Make sure I typed it in right here, because I don't want you to go to the wrong location here. Yeah, I think that's right. So that's the web address right there. Go check that out if you get a chance. Okay, it isn't turning it into a link, but you ought to go cut and paste it. And it should be a good time to do it. You're right. Just in time for Christmas. For the Cats Need a Job Fund. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. You hear that, Bite? You got to get a job now, because Jeff just paid for you to get a job. I suppose you're not going to be any more grateful for that than you were for the kitty treat fund, though, are you? You're spoiled. Yeah, you may not appreciate it, but I do, Jeff. Thank you. You done any recent videos? Wow, we've been going for almost 2 hours now. Oh, that ought to be a good one. Yeah, turkey video. Did I freeze? Oh, I'm sorry. Am I seeing any internet problems here? I'm not seeing anything on my end. Anyone else having streaming problems? He's actually on screen quite a bit. I mean, it's he, and I think he has some of the best one-liners too. He is. I think the funniest joke in the whole movie is Jordan when he delivers it. Oh yeah, you're right, Robert. My mistake. Sorry, I'm kind of blending everything together here. Yeah, it's Jeff that wants to get the cats to get a job. You gave them kitty treats, so I think that's what I was talking about. All right, well, I'm glad everything is at least looking good here. White walked over there now, so he's just kind of exploring around. It's getting there. It's getting cold. There've been a couple days where the temperature got down to about freezing, um, but we're supposed to get below freezing, like on Monday and Tuesday this week. We got this kind of cold front coming in, so it's going to be really interesting. I think the reason Nibble isn't coming down is she doesn't really, she stays in her room during the day. When I've got the TV on and when I'm dishing the kitty treats, when it's all quiet down here, then she'll be down. So this isn't anything really unusual for her. In fact, the unusual thing is that Bite has started coming down now. He's every day now when he hears me talking to the computer, or even when he hears me setting up to do the live stream, he's down here. So I think he's starting to associate with the live streams with kitty treats. Thank you, Jeff Kidd. I appreciate that. Look forward to seeing your turkey video. That ought to be a good one. I don't know if we'd ever see a video with my mom. My mom, I don't know, has really the interest in coming on and doing that. I might be able to talk her into a picture. Me posting a picture or something like that. If you remember a while back, I was talking about how my parents and I used to go to a resort in Mission Bay in San Diego called Vacation Village. Well, we went there a few years ago to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary, and there was a nice photo that we all took that's actually hanging in my mom's dining room. Maybe at some point I'll show you that, because then that shows everyone. That shows me and my sister and my mom and my dad and my brother-in-law and their two kids. So it's a nice photo. I bet you I could probably talk them into letting me see that, let me post that. Cool. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, I'll watch for it. Yeah, I suppose that there's a lot at stake if you're cooking for Thanksgiving. You probably want to make sure you know what you're doing. Yeah, yeah, you said 57 in Waco. That's probably about right. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. It varies around here. It's about 58 on my thermometer. So, yeah, that's pretty close. 58 degrees Fahrenheit. But we're supposed to go down a little bit cooler tonight. I don't know. What do they say the weather's going down to tonight? Like I said, this is the reason I keep the pad next to me here so I can check all this stuff. Come on, wake up. Come on. Never mind. It's fighting with me every time I try and open it. It closes and requires the password again. Prime rib for Christmas. That'd be good too. My mom's trying to coax me home for both Thanksgiving and uh, and Christmas by promising to make her lasagna for me. Yeah, I'll do that right now, Robert. Thank you. Robert, or Dad, Robert says thank you for calling in. So happy you're home with your with my mom. Yeah, I keep threatening that we all got to go over to Jeff's house for dinner some point. I don't know. He hasn't given me the address. I suspect there's probably a reason for that. Yeah, that's what this weather's saying. It's going to be the coldest. It's it's going to be the coldest it's been since I've been here. Because I think, like I said, one of the nights I was coming back from Silo of the Screams, I got in the car. It was really cold that night. I got in the car, and for the first time, there was like frost on the car and on the windshield and all that. I actually had to turn the heat on in the car for a while to thaw out the windshield before I could even turn the windshield wipers on to clear it and drive safely. And I kept watching the thermometer on the car, and it kept getting colder and colder and colder. And I think it got down to like 31 or 30 degrees. So that was pretty cold. When was the last time I saw snow? It's not very often. I was actually just thinking about that this morning. I mean, I've been in the snow a number of times. I've probably seen it snow maybe half a dozen times in my life because I've always lived in Southern California. You know, it never snows there. Occasionally you'll get some hail, but that's about it. But I think I've actually been in the snow maybe half a dozen times in my life, or been in when it's snowing half a dozen times in my life. Um, but I've been in the snow, I don't know, a number of times. It's just, not very often, and it's been a long time. I couldn't even remember the last time. Thanksgiving is about about 12 days from now. It's on Thursday, 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks from last Thursday. So about 12 days out. See, that was sort of one of the reasons I kind of came to Texas, is I heard that it does snow here occasionally, not very often, but I'm sure it happens more than it does in Southern California. Yeah, that's a good question, Jeff. How many people in here right now are from outside the UK or outside the US? Check-in time, everyone. Just for people that are outside the US, where are people from? I mean, it's probably getting late over in Europe right now because it's probably 1 or 2 in the morning now. Thanks, Nancy. I'm glad you enjoyed the live stream with my dad. I know he was really happy to do it and was glad to be able to finally get a chance to come in and thank all of you for your prayers because that meant so much to him. I told him all the time, oh yeah, my viewers keep sending their prayers and all that, and so he was so grateful for that, and that was why he really wanted to come in here and thank you personally. So I know that meant a lot to him. Okay, so I'm seeing UK, I'm seeing Australia, Alberta, Canada, Winnipeg, Canada. Yeah, Nancy, I'm sure there are a bunch of concoctions that will thaw the ice for you, and it makes sense that if you throw mix alcohol in with it, that would help because alcohol freezes at a lower temperature. But Unfortunately, that was my first experience with that here, and so I wasn't prepared for anything like that. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say Jordan's in Australia for right now. I don't know. I heard he was going, um, but haven't talked to him about that. Like I said, we talked a few times because, I really wanted to discuss with him that Waco Horror video. I actually showed it to him the day I posted it, and I wanted, I would, wanted his input on it because, it was I'd never done anything quite like that before. I showed a video of my father a couple days ago on one of my videos, on one of my daily videos. It should still be up. Okay, Greater Bilby says he's in Sydney. Like I said, I haven't talked to Jordan about that in it, well, at all. So yeah. Jordan thought he said he thought it was the best video I'd ever done. I kind of replied, I don't know if it's the best, but I think it's the most important. Yeah, I got half a cat behind me, just like a typical cat. He's showing you his butt. Yeah, I'm glad I got a chance to do it. Like I said, I was really concerned about the subject matter. I didn't think that you know I was concerned that people wouldn't want to watch it, and I kind of teased about it for a couple of days, and I was concerned that I'd scare people off with the subject matter, and so that was kind of why I put the disclaimer in front and tried to warn people because okay, you don't like one video, that's one thing. I don't want you to stop watching me because you think I manipulated into watching something that horrible. But I thought it was a story that had to be told. Um, I've looked around, there's just really not a whole lot of information out there. And in terms of videos and stuff like that, there's almost nothing. And the stuff that is out there is like kind of inaccurate. So well, one of the things I heard, I believe there is still family in the area because in 2016, at the 100-year anniversary of it, the city of Waco issued a proclamation condemning it, acknowledging how evil it was, and allegedly they apologized to the survivors or to surviving family members. So I don't know if they brought him in from elsewhere. I know that after that event, there was a huge issue with black people just saying, "Okay, I'm done with Waco. I'm out of here." And a lot of black people left after that. So I don't know. It may have been family that moved elsewhere. I know that he had had brothers and sisters, so you would have to assume that some of them had kids and grandkids and great grandkids of their own. Yeah, that in the end was the final thing. Is that I thought the video had to be told, even if I couldn't collect any revenue on it. I thought it was an important story, and I think I covered it better than any other video I'd seen out there. Because a lot of the videos they glossed over details or got things just outwardly wrong, um, or told things out of sequence. And I didn't find anybody that had identified specifically where on the property it had happened. I saw a couple of videos where they get out in front of the city hall, the current city hall building. They don't even show pictures of the old city hall, and just said, "Yeah, it happened on this site," but they didn't say where. I was actually able to figure out where on the property it happened. So, hopefully this is one of those videos that will, that'll go down for the ages and, you know, hopefully be, something that'll go viral at some point and get a lot more views. I think it's an important video. Yeah, the postcard images are all over the internet. They apparently sold thousands and thousands of those. And see, I've known about the Branch Davidians for forever, ever since it happened, because I remember when that was happening live, and I haven't really had the eagerness to cover that subject the way this one was, because everyone knows about that story. I found out about this story earlier this week. I'd never heard of it before. In fact, one of the things I read when I was doing my research is that there was a young black woman who said she went through high school in the 60s and never heard about that story and didn't hear about it until her adulthood. She knew all about the tornado that went through here in 53, but they didn't cover that in the 60s. So, if I can tell a story, that's one of the things Jordan says that he's always proud of is when he can make the best video on a subject on the internet. And I think this was, I think this is the best video because I literally walked his final path. I found out where it happened. No one else that I'd seen talked about how, they went from the courthouse and they originally planned to bring him over to the suspension bridge and hang him there, and then went back to the city hall when they found out that there was a fire already burning there. And, so, I mean, I walked the final path with this guy. He didn't deserve that. Even if he did kill that woman, he didn't deserve to die that way. Even if he was sentenced to death, there's protocols for it. Hate to quote myself, but that's not how it's done. So anyway, I think I'm pretty much done for the night. We've been going for a little bit more than 2 hours, and we're about 3 minutes away from my new video coming up. And so I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed my father coming on here and doing something. Perhaps we'll do that again. I know he seemed to enjoy it, and he really wanted to do that. So thank you always for his prayer, for the prayers for him, because I know how much it meant to him. So that's all I have. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.